Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, as we are past our first round here in bracket number 1, and I am joined by some more handsome gentlemen over to my right. Indeed. Maynard, who was casting just before, and Piggly Wiggly. How are you doing, buddy?
Good. It's good to be out here finally.
Yeah.
Katowice, big event. You know, got a couple hundred StarCraft players down here competing for $250,000. There's about 35 Koreans here. I'm really excited, man. Like, we haven't had an event like this in so long. So
No, indeed.
I'm like, oh, I'm finally down here, get to watch some awesome games. It's been a while.
It's throwback to the 2012, 2013 tournaments. So very, very exciting for sure to see how all of these players are going to develop throughout the time. Of course, though, we have had our first round complete, and our next match is going to be Stats going up against DaNa. DaNa, who just had that surprise victory there over his previous Protoss opponent, but DNS and Stats are two entirely different beasts, right?
Yeah, to say the least. I mean, Stats is a round of 4 GSL Protoss here. He's one of, if not the best Protoss in the world right now, going up against a kid that's just beaten a pretty good French Protoss. Like, it's a French Protoss that should have been favored and was favored by pretty much everyone before that game started. But you're absolutely right. To say Stats is a different beast is, to put it to put it mildly.
Indeed. Second place during the Intel Extreme Masters, Gyeonggi kind of falling short in the final against Innovation, which, to be fair, was a crushing final, but it's still Stats. He's still a guy currently on Team Splice that can pull out some amazing games, right, Roddy?
Yeah, he's doing great, man. I feel like he's really blossoming, not just as a player, but also as a personality. He started streaming, and he's so funny on his stream as well. He just tries to have a good time and entertain people. And, you know, he used to just be this very good Korean that we saw in Pro League, and every now and then made top 4, but that was it. But I feel right now, Stats is so much more. Stats is a real contender. Stats is somebody that can win the tournament, and he's winning over the hearts of the online audience, man. Everybody's really starting to fall in love with Stats. So do I. I love watching him, and yeah, he is a completely different animal than DNS. So I don't think this is going to be the same result for DaNa, but let's see what he brings to the table. If he gets a couple of lucky moments where he snipes a Prism again, you know, that really makes the life of a Zerg player so much easier now. Obviously, Stats is most likely not going to fly his Prism over a bunch of Hydras, but obviously DaNa can play, so let's see what he brings to the table here.
Well, that's something I wanted to focus on with our resident Zerg here in Pig. Like, you must have watched those games from DaNa and DNS. What stood out from you that was the strength of DaNa going into that series in the prior?
Well, DaNa just looked like he was in control of the match from the beginning.
Yeah.
He looked like he was so comfortable against the early Adept pressure, the Oracle pressure, and he just kind of deflected them without breaking a sweat. And then he almost just played harder the Swarm Zerg. He was like, hey, I'm just going to make a bunch of Roaches and Hydras and I'm going to attack you. And he executed it very well, but I felt like, you know, DNS fell short by not really putting him under the gun in terms of the pressure.
Okay.
And there were a few small crucial mistakes from him. So I think DaNa, he's definitely shown a comfort zone in that style of play, but can he take it into the mid-game when the game drags on?
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. I'll be checking in with you later in terms of what games are going to be going on here at the desk. For now, though, we can head over to the casters for Stats versus DaNa to see if the upset can happen 2 times in a row.
Hey guys, thank you so much. Here we are, Todd. We went up together here to the casting desk for actually what I find to be a very exciting match in Stats versus DaNa.
Yeah, we just have 2 players that won in the same matchup, and that were very impressive in it, to be honest. I would say DaNa probably even more so because, I mean, Sauras, no offense, but not as big a name as DNS.
Yeah.
So looking forward to this one. And they played also against and with similar styles that I think what we're going to see there. So it really builds up for this matchup.
Yeah, it really does. And I think that you were very right in saying that it's not like DaNa was trying to like counter what DNS was doing. It's just like the strategy he wants to do, which is that like Hydra Roach with some Lings. And look, man, I'm excited for it. I think that this actually could be an upset, but we'll see. Up in the top left of Abyssal Reef, our Red Zerg, it's DaNa.
Looking fantastic in his previous series. Had a primal scream after winning that game.
I love that. I even liked his interview where he's like, yeah, this is all excuses, whatever. The bottom right, our blue Protoss from the best in the world, it's Stats. But, like, look, I mean, Stats is obviously fantastic. You know, he's obviously one of the very best players in the world. Maybe he's going to win GSL this season. But that doesn't mean he's unbeatable. He's going to be a little bit jet lagged for sure. I think he just flew in Saturday, same as everyone else from Korea, right? So, like, he should be... You know, well, I'm not saying he should be tired, but he could be tired.
Absolutely, yeah. Can you imagine DaNa going into this bracket and like beating DNS 10 Stats? Wouldn't that be the sickest thing?
Well, that would be amazing. Like, that's... well, then the funny thing is he might have to play like a ZVZ versus TLO, then TLO just wins a bracket or something. It's like, okay, DaNa did all the hard work here. Come on. But I don't know. We'll see. I think that the style of strategy that he used against DNS is something that could catch Stats off guard, because you don't see that type of push really at the top pro level. And so the meta at the top pro level isn't really designed to deal with it.
And Uncle Tasteless actually was talking about this earlier when he was casting. You don't really get to study your potential opponents for the next round, because you're playing at the same time. So technically, Stats shouldn't be aware of what exactly happened in the previous series, and if he's not ready for it, if he's not properly preparing for that big timing that we saw DaNa use twice and he's not ready, it's going to be tough for him to hold.
Yeah, that's very true. So we'll see how that goes down. Abyssal Reef going to be our first map, as we see, of course. And what do you think about this map in this matchup, Todd?
I have a tough time against Zerg.
Really? Really?
On most maps, to be honest. Like.
Oh yeah, no, I suck against Zerg, but I think this map is all right for PvZ personally.
Yeah, I think to defend on your multiple bases, like if you can set up properly, I feel like it's all in seeing it coming.
Yeah.
If you can properly see it coming and like you're really set up for the defense, if it's going to be like some sort of 3-base timing with Ro8, Ravager, Hydralisk, then you're going to have a much better chance, obviously. But it's kind of hard, obviously. But if obviously one Protoss was going to be able to do that, it would be Stats.
Yeah.
With, his adept control, whether he opens Oracle or not, which in this case is going to be a Twilight Council early on.
Yeah, and based off what I'm seeing here, I think it's just going to be Glaives. It's kind of looking that way. Chrono boosting out a couple of depths. He's going to want to maybe poke around the map a little bit, see what DaNa's up to, but a very safe opening overall.
Yeah, and Stats is masterful with it as well. Like you will see him execute the build perfectly, you know, maybe take a third gas, but not a fourth one, start that third Nexus.
Yeah.
Swap in a lot of adepts consistently, make sure he doesn't miss a beat, and then once he has like 7 to 9, 10, he goes in for the attack. And to be honest, Zaras in the previous series did a good job of holding the first initial attack from Stats, but he wasn't droning up as well as he could have because of that, and that's when Stats really starts getting momentum and then never really lets go of his lead.
Yeah, if DaNa is to make an upset here, the most important thing is to hold on against the first couple real adept pushes, really. And I mean, this is just a tiny poke, so he holds it quite easily, gets one adept. Good job.
Yeah, made quite a few links though to hold that comfortably in the first place, so he had to skip a few drones, and now the Ro8 is going to be on the way from DaNa, who's putting some effort into scouting here. We see some Overlord actually flying over the area, spotting the gateways, and there's one being sent in the main. So I have to say DaNa, he was one of the players that I was overlooking big time here going into this bracket, but so far, not only did he just beat DNS, but I'm liking the way he's playing here.
Yeah.
Stats, even if he was to lose from there, like he's already putting some good work.
No, totally. Like he's blocking everything. His lings are at the right time. He's re-droning. He does have that Roach Warren so that if a massive adept push comes, he won't just die to it. Did he see the Robo? I'm a little bit confused if he actually saw that. Okay, he missed the Robo. So the Overlord is flying around. A lot of times with this, you see like a double Stargate follow-up, so I think he has been looking for that, hasn't seen it yet, but I think we just saw Ling in there, so he knows basically what's going on.
He's getting 7 Roaches here already. Actually, I can't tell if he's overreacting to the attack he thinks is coming, or if he actually wants to attack himself. Maybe a little bit of both. When you make units like this, if you think your opponent's going to attack, you can actually go for the attack yourself. I mean, he sees there is no third yet for the longest time.
Yeah.
Unit that he had on Stats third base just died just now, so
yeah,
he knows
that's
that the
super
Nexus
late.
will start now. Yeah, that's a very late Nexus.
And to see such an early Robo, minimum of Prisms coming out of there. Maximum, it's going to be like an Immortal push, but you got to prepare for that. And so with this amount of units, I think he's all right. He's like kind of splitting between drones and units quite a bit, but the thing is, if you overmake drones, Stats will just kill you with his amazing adept control.
Tech started very, very late here from DaNa. Stats, actually, we see him a lot with sometimes some big sentry attacks where he gets like a whole bunch of Immortals. And look at this, he's going to be one of those. In his previous series, he used one of these attacks against Zaras that was going down to Hydralisks, and then didn't have as many Ravagers. Force fields are still pretty good. If you don't get the right counter, they still trap your entire army, and then you're here with sitting ducks doing nothing that are just dying.
There was quite a hilarious force field donut that he made against yours in that last round you and I were watching. So definitely this is a type of strategy that we've seen Stats already employ this game, and with Immortals on the way, this is going to be a very scary army.
Where does he attack into, though, on this map? You know, we mentioned that for Zerg to attack into Protoss is going to be a little bit harder, but the same goes for a Zerg player, but then again, force fields
Yeah.
change the entire landscape of the map, right? You basically build your own mountains and ramps. I remember
Yeah.
some players used to joke that back in the days.
It is a map manipulation robot right there for sure. And look at how many he has. Like, the thing is, on this map, everything is so thin. It's only a couple, 2, 3 force fields, and you've cut off every route. So this attack coming up is going to be deadly. Will he go towards the natural or the third, though?
It's a massive investment for Stats to go for this. Like, he's committing a lot to at least doing damage. He could still transition, obviously. Like, you know, if he realizes that Lurker on the way, he could go for Robo Bay and then Disruptor. But you still want to do quite a bit of damage. So if DaNa was able to hold comfortably here, he would be in a great position. But I can't see how, against how good Stats force fields usually are in these attacks.
Oh, this is going to be a tough one, no doubt. Some good force fields already coming down. A flank of Lings and Roaches, not enough, though. A lot of units already falling. Oh man, this push is deadly indeed.
A legacy of the Void Soul Train, if you will, here. He moves right in there. Drones are already being pulled. A lot of this army in the back, not able to shoot here just yet from DaNa. And Stats can just reinforce with the War Prism that he's got nearby. He's still losing a lot, though.
A brutal push coming in from Stats. And during this, I think he did shade in a couple of adepts maybe into the natural or something. We see a ton of drones dying at the third. Everything going wrong. I mean, DaNa's trying to tech up into Lurkers, make something happen if he holds the switch. It looks like he might technically hold, but with the amount of drones that he's lost, just look at that worker supply.
I'm looking at it. Oh, you're good. You're good. That's all I'm looking at, Artos, is the supply.
Oh, I know. That's how I know what to say during the cast. I just look at your eyes and look where they're looking, and I just say what I see.
Actually, usually it's at the top right or like at the top of the screen, but now it's all the way at the bottom. It's like kind of hard to see.
Got to really lean forward into that.
But Blink transition here with a second Robo. So probably going to go Stalkers plus a lot of Immortals, because we see no Robo bait just yet from Stats, who I think realizes fully here that he's done the damage that he wanted.
Yeah, you know, maybe somehow we can see DaNa start to fight back. I do like the fact that he has Lurker tech.
Yeah.
Because what we see, like, if you don't go Stargate in the Korean meta, mutas are coming. They're going to make like 5 mutas and really annoy you. So all the Protosses get Blink, but Blink isn't going to be that useful against Lurker-type tech. So I'm looking at this in a very optimistic way for DaNa where, hey, this tech of Stats is not fantastic against what he's going for. So if he goes into some turtly Lurker play, he should be able to secure 4 or 5 bases.
DaNa is actually starting to bank quite a bit of gas. He has yet to go into these Lurkers there, but +1 Carpe starts as +2 missile finished. He's on point with his upgrades, to be honest. He's done a good job of that.
And he is making a few Ravagers here to help out with those mass force fields. A few Lurkers on the way as well. I don't know if that'll be quick enough. I think this 4th is going to get canceled no matter what, which really hurts because Stats' 4th is about to finish.
A bit surprised we don't see a Robo Bay, actually. Like, it's not like a massive investment, right? It's a safety thing as well, but I mean, Stats is confident enough, I guess, with just the Immortals and Blink Stalkers. You mentioned that Blink Stalkers, obviously, and they're not very good units against Lurkers, but it's Stats. You would never actually fight against the Lurkers.
That's true.
Just kind of dance around like we see Protosses do against Liberators, and then finally take a good engagement when he can.
Yeah, look at how brutal this is right now. Those 4 Adepts killing off 12 workers on the other side. Just a very tough time here for DaNa. He's taken so much damage throughout this game.
I'm loving this Soul Train style, man.
Yeah.
It's really something that we don't see too many Protosses do very often. We saw a little bit of that from Zest over at Nation Wars in France. He's actually blinking forward here because the Lurkers were exposed. There was no units to cover them.
Oh, man. Well, he is losing quite a few of these Stalkers, and it looks like this should be held. I don't know if he's going to be able to chase everything down here, but he is certainly trying.
Wow.
Those Immortals could get caught, but he is getting a lot of value out of them, targeting down quite a few Lurkers.
And look at the supply Artosis. DaNa towering Stats right now. Here I was saying he's never going to engage into 2 Lurkers with just Blink Stalkers. How wrong was that? Stats blinks forward, and he might pay the price for this with a counter-attack that could do a lot there.
Well, the counterattack certainly has to do a lot. Oh my god, these 3 Immortals out in the middle of the map. Stats microing them to their utmost. DaNa trying to target down, but if he kills these off, man, this could be an upset.
Absolutely. DaNa has to go for the throat right now. He has to go for the Juggler and try and at least kill that 4th base here from Stat, but he's killing so many important units here in these Immortals that are going to be very hard to replenish. Charge about to finish, and +2 now done. Let's see if Stats can hold on to that base. He's not even got the supply.
Lot of Blink Stalkers blinking forward right now, aggressively going after Ravagers. Picks one off. The Lurker's coming up right now, though. Will he have enough to actually break through? Charge is not done.
I didn't see an observer around here.
No, I don't see one. He does have two Robos.
One now.
Wow, that's kind of late.
Okay, there is one somewhere.
Do we actually have an Overseer near? He has 3 Overseers, so there's I guess he doesn't have enough Hydras really to gun it down.
I mean, 2. Would be good enough.
Well,
actually, that position is just so hard to attack into here when you just have that many Blink Stalkers. I love this counter attacking with the Adepts. Is going to be very important.
Well, this is how Stats keeps himself in the game. This is why he's one of the best Protoss in the world, always doing so many things at once, dealing a ton of damage. Yeah, he's going to lose his 4th base 100%, but to kill that many drones.
The Observer leaves for now, but that counter attack, he's kind of forcing DaNa to go all in here. He might be overextending here. He goes forward a little bit too fast, and Stats is being very patient here with his Stalker, staying backwards.
The Lurker's getting a lot of damage off, but the Immortals and the spread of these Stalkers doing a very good job, a very solid job, and he will end up clearing it out, and in fact, even saves the 4th base. Very impressive. GG, well played, is called by DaNa. And I gotta say, Todd, look, like, Stats played well, and he won. He's the better player, you can tell, but if DaNa had not taken ludicrous amounts of damage to the first push, he absolutely could have won that game with the tech choices he made. His style is very counter to the current Protoss meta.
He's putting up a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
For somebody who I think going to this bracket, not many people thought he was going to have a good chance. Even though he lost that game here, made it very close. I'm very impressed with DaNa.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for this second game. I hope that he's not going to feel like too down on himself for that, because a lot of things did go wrong, but he caught some of Stats' mistakes as well. You know, you're out in the middle of the map with all those Immortals. That attack into the 3rd base when Stats is up a base, but, you know, has the wrong tech units and tries to break him. Stats almost cost himself there.
He's definitely feeling the pressure, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Especially like going into this match, he probably didn't think he was going to be under too much threat, and now, like after a close game like this, probably started sweating a little bit here during that big push on his 4th base here at the end.
No doubt about that. Lucky for him, he had those Adepts, and I think you're right, that kind of forced DaNa to just be like, okay, let's push this all the way. Because if he sits back, he kills the 4th base. And maybe he can even get away with units as well, or reinforce, but with all those Adepts killing off every drone he has, it's like, wow, I don't know, let's just do it.
I think he maybe underestimated the size of the army of Stats as well, and he probably thought he could win with the Lurkers that he had, knowing that there was no Disruptor, but, I mean, Stats had good control towards the end. He bought himself enough time. Very nice game, actually.
No, I'm very impressed overall with how DaNa is progressing throughout this. And, you know, I don't really know how good his ZVZ is, but so far, based on his ZVP, you never know. He could make some upsets. What if Snoot takes down Harstom on the other side? Crazy things could occur. Well, we're going to go ahead and throw to the analysis desk real quick and check up what's going on in the rest of the bracket.
Thank you very much, guys. I've got to agree, DaNa looking pretty good there, considering he was going up against someone like Stats in that first game. Of course, we do have other results kind of churning in and coming through. Currently, we actually have Pig, who is in the game between TLO and Bly. So, Pig, why don't you tell us what's going on in that game so far?
An action-packed ZVZ so far to start off their series. You know, Bly took the early advantage, managed to snipe down TLO's 3rd base, gets to the Lingbane back and forth, and Bly has carried that through to an advantage with Mutalisks on the field, and TLO, he's trying to make something happen with tunneling clawed Roaches, but right now Bly has just got vision everywhere. He keeps catching the Roaches, trying to sneak out, so Bly has got a solid advantage in this first game.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We'll continue to kind of keep you updated as that occurs. Of course, we have other matches going on throughout the tournament at the moment as well. Lambo and Snoot. Lambo currently 1 up at the moment, right, Maynard?
Yeah, that's correct. We're actually in game number 2, and Snoot's going for a pretty early pull here. He went for 12 pull with gas with speed. He's been very aggressive. Baneling Nest with this as well. So, yeah, Snoot's trying to tie this up pretty quickly here. It remains to be seen. Hasn't really been an engagement yet on Belshire, but see that Lambo was, you know, just going for a regular ZVZ build, like just a little bit standard pull first, getting in a hatchery. But Snoot's looking like he's going to start flooding with Lings pretty soon here, as he's, you know, waiting for speed to finish not too far away. Baneling Nest about to finish as well. So, yeah, this is looking a little bit dicey at the moment for Lambo.
Little bit dicey.
A little bit dicey, yes.
What a throwback that was.
What a throwback. What a throwback. Well, of course, that is the current games that are going on right here on the desk at the moment. I believe you have cashed in versus Hearthstone, but it's only just started.
Yep, literally not a single Zealot or Adept has been built yet, so it's really not worth jumping into the game. Let's just continue with DaNa versus Stats, because that was so fun, man.
Yeah.
That one blink on the left top side into 8 lurkers when you see all the stalkers explode. I love it. Give me more.
Do you think overall, I mean, I know Stats is the absolute king when it comes to this matchup, and it's going to be difficult for DaNa to go up against him, but were you surprised by how well DaNa was performing?
I think everybody was surprised,
Yeah.
so let's just go ahead and get back to game number 2, because I believe the players are ready. But no, I'm very surprised and very impressed.
All right, well, cool stuff. Thank you very much, guys, as we keep you updated throughout the tournament. For now, though, we're going to head back to the casters for game number 2 between Stats and DaNa.
Thanks very much, guys. Kind of exciting that Lambo took that first game off of Snoot. You know, a lot of people, especially Rotterdam, saying that this was going to be a very one-sided bracket. Snoot's definitely getting out. But
Somebody said that Lambo might be able to do well on the desk. Who was it?
was it me? Did I also say DaNa could beat DNS because he'll put too much pressure on himself? I think I did say both those things. Isn't that so weird?
That's weird, because usually it's the opposite.
And didn't I say that maybe DaNa could have some good games against Stats because his style is kind of counter to the pro meta?
Did you?
Oh, look at that. You think I play some StarCraft here and there.
Some might say you know about these games.
And I can officially say I've never lost a Mamba, so I guess I'm doing fine. But anyways, let's take a look at game number 2, guys. In the bottom left, our Polish Zerg player, it is DaNa. Looks a little stressed, I would have to say. Like he's kind of like a little bit fidgety, I think. In the bottom right, maybe the greatest Protoss in the world. It is Stats. His stats so far today at 3-0. Well, the last game, that was a little bit close. And I gotta say, I'm very happy with the map that we have here. Newkirk, this works so much better with his style. And those Immortal pushes, they don't really work well here.
Yeah.
It's so wide open, you can just run around.
Yeah, absolutely. They might play differently, though, because of that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I could see Stats maybe going for a much more aggressive build with a lot more adepts early on.
Sure.
The thing is, though, I have to say, DaNa's defense has been pretty good.
Yeah,
Like,
it
he
is.
hasn't lost too many drones early on. Like, obviously, in the previous game, it was like the big push with the sentries that he wasn't ready for. But then again, who's really ready for that push? Unless you're playing consistently against guys like Stats on the Korean ladder.
That's true.
I
It's
feel like
just
you won't be
popping up
ready.
again. These crazy Immortal pushes, like Classic does them a little, Zest does them a little, Stats does them a little, but it's brand new, like to have this type of build coming back, and people aren't used to it right now.
I mean, how do you really counter that? I guess like the meta where people were going for Mass Ravager and Baneling would be fine against this, but then if you do that and Stats realizes, he's just going to transition anyway and be fine, so...
Yeah, because I think that what they're trying to do with this is hit before you can really have a good Hydralisk swarm, because I think that would hold it pretty well if you have like upgraded Hydras. But I think you're right, it might be like a Ling Bane Ravager type of meta that would be good against that. But, you know, again, on Newkirk Precinct, it's not really a good strategy for this map, if you ask me.
We'll see what Stats changes here, if he changes anything. Maybe takes the third base a little bit later, maybe super early. Like, there's always these extremes you can go to try and counter what you think the opponent's going to go into. But again, DaNa, in the previous game, he did play a little bit different than what we saw against DNS earlier. You know, he tried to go straight away into lurkers, and to be honest, if Stats hadn't gone for that big push that did a lot of damage with the sentries, he might have been in trouble.
Yeah.
If he had just kind of been sitting down and let DaNa play his game. But
Lurkers like crush a lot of different units. You need to have very specific comps. You either need like disruptors, obviously, like if you have an air toss, and we don't need to get into that, but you know, like Blink Stalkers are no good against them. Adepts are really not that good against them. Sentries are garbage against them. You know, and those are kind of like some popular ways that Korean pro gamers play right now. So I wouldn't mind seeing him try to get into lurkers again.
Twilight Council into a Robo here. So maybe the good old Dark Shrine opener.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, especially if you see a Stalker with this, it's like kind of a giveaway for the Koreans. They love, love, love this style. It's so rock solid. But here's the interesting part for me, right? Like, you can go two ways. You can either go all in off of it. Oh, is that anger? Is he upset?
No.
Or is he rocking out to some
he's
sick
buzzing
beats?
to some music.
Oh. Okay, well.
What song do you think he's buzzing to?
I don't know. It's heavy, though. It is for sure heavy, whatever that music is right there. But Look, like this style, like will Stats go into an all-in off of this, or will he just back up and expand off of it? And then does he follow with Blink? Because if he follows with Blink, I think the style of that we saw last time, going into Lurkers, could do a good job.
I've seen Stats actually pretty often going to charge behind this, a lot of gateways, and even though he gets the third Nexus most of the time, it's a fake. He just sticks to like 44-ish probes and masses units and then go for the attack. You talked beautifully about how the map, is different and it's harder to hold your third base on, so it might be very smart for him to go for that. But again, if DaNa can kind of smell this coming and just makes a ton of units, he might be fine. Even though against the force fields of Stats, it's always pretty hard to hold.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. And of course, the initial harassment of these Archon drops is really important as well.
Archons or DTs though?
Well, he'll start DTs probably, just poke and see if his opponent is messed up and he can get a quick win, which might occur. I don't see a Spore here. I don't see a Spore here either. Uh-oh. I think DaNa is a little bit unaware. His Slayer is almost done. So if he just runs things...
Stefano in Nation Wars.
Oh, God. Let's see. Here comes the DTs, and they are going to start going to town. The Queen going to fall, a couple drones as well. Overseer's on the way, so this will end, but already this is like pretty decent.
Yeah, he better have a good song queued up to cheer him back up here in this game, because the damage has already been dealt here, chasing these drones away, killing 2, doing a little bit of damage on that hatchery, which later is going to be a little bit more exposed against a potential attack as well. Yeah,
you do like an Immortal Charge Lot attack in there. They back up at all. Those Immortals are going to gun that down very quickly.
Look at that, 2 more gates, Immortal production. It really looks like Stats is going to be going for a timing there. What has he been warping actually?
Yeah, look at that.
4 more gates.
Oh, yeah, he's just trying to add on everything. The sentries. Oh, boy.
Soul Train.
Yeah. This is a super powerful push that Stats has been using for quite a while and normally does a good job on. Look at this. With just 2 DTs, this is not even Archons. This is not 2 Archons, it's 2 DTs.
Can you tell me
this many drones.
Why is it that every time I do this, I reach the other side of the map and the Zerg is maxed out? And I lose.
Well, it's a good... I think you're probably just playing against the greatest Zergs in the whole world, because I know you yourself in IEM Katowice, well, not Katowice, but IEM World Champion, should be able to kill people with this build. I mean,
whoa!
Hey, that's a nice catch right there. 2 sentries and a Stalker for free.
At least he's walled off at home. Zerglings can squeeze past sometimes, but usually not when there is a Zealot in the wall.
Yeah.
So good touch here.
Okay,
and actually, I think Archon's here to this attack.
The Archon's going to add a whole lot. That's a lot of sentries as well.
It doesn't even feel like he needs force fields just yet.
Yeah, maybe not. But look, this is a good amount of roaches. That's a great juggle, though, on the Archon, bringing it back against the Zergling flank. Good micro by DaNa, though, pulling back those Zerglings as the Archons get into them. The drone's coming up right now with the Lings. He's trying to hold on as best he can, but oh my God, Stats' execution here is fantastic.
Look at his supply autosis. Stats is now towering over DaNa, who's still rocking to his song with his last few roaches alive. He's going to tap out. GG.
Yeah, and that is going to be that. DaNa is going to fall into that loser bracket. A tough one. Definitely Stats executing that push very quickly and very strongly. DaNa just not quite ready for it.
Stats probably pretty happy as well. He didn't have to face DNS. I think that could have been a tricky matchup in a PvZ,
yes,
even though he's a fantastic player in it. But DaNa, I have to say, still quite impressed with him, even though that last game not as close as we would have liked it to be, ideally.
Now,
he's a happy guy.
Hey, look, anything could happen with him in the loser bracket now, okay? He gets a little bit higher up, losing a little bit later on, so whoever he ends up hitting, who knows? Maybe Harston goes down there, he gets another Protoss player.
Maybe a rematch
against better.
DNS would be cool.
Yeah, that would be a fun one as well. That could end up being the last match, you don't know, but looks like Stats is pretty happy with that victory.
Just nodding at himself.
Yeah.
You did it, man.
It's like, all right, I'm going to get into that group stage.
Rocking that splice jacket.
It's a handsome one indeed. But look, DaNa, I hope to see this guy more today. Like, I hope he does make it at least deep into the loser bracket, because he has shown us strong games. It's just, it's kind of brutal that he's on this side of the bracket against this player in particular. This is the most successful Protoss right now that there is. Like, this guy is killing everybody in Korea.
Yeah. I wonder what happened last game, actually, because he didn't scout. Like, we scouted so much in the first game, but then second one, not at all, and then didn't see the Lark Shrines. So that was a problem, but what can you do? It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, even DaNa, unfortunately. So, you know, I don't know. Do you think that DaNa has a chance to actually beat anyone in ZVZ or ZVP to advance through here? Because there's like no Terrans in this group, basically. Very
Yeah,
few.
for sure. I think after what he showed there, if he just keeps playing well, not like that last game, if he stays focused and keeps on scouting. Even you found yourself with some surprise DTs in your base back in the days on Boudoir.
Yeah, I never really cared for that myself, to be honest. I didn't have Overlords to scout them out, though. I mean, come on, you got to get your Overlords in there. The thing is, that Stalker, that initial Stalker kind of scared him away.
Yeah.
So, what can you do? Well, guys, we're going to jump to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, more games for you.